We're now going to the last topic of coordinate geometry, and this is a topic that is somewhat new. You won't find exam questions before 2020, if I'm not mistaken, about this topic, and the topic is the circle. So what is a circle, and how can a circle be defined? If you think of it, there are only two things that you need to know in order to completely define a circle. And these two things are the center of the circle and the radius of the circle. Once you know the center of the circle, you know where it is. Once you know the radius, you know how big it is. And that's all that you need to know to define the circle. So let's call coordinates A and B the x and the y coordinate of the center, and r the radius of the circle. If you want to know the equation of the circle defined by the coordinates x and y of any point on the circle, is defined like this: x minus a squared plus y minus b squared equals the radius squared. Again, a and b are the coordinates of the center and r the radius of the circle. Notice that if the circle is defined at the origin, then a and b are going to be 0, both of them, meaning that this is just going to be x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So if you have, for example, x squared plus y squared equals 25, you know that this is a circle with center on point 0, 0 at the origin, and the radius is not 25, but 5. The value that you have there, the number that you will have there, is the square of the radius. Usually you have values that are square numbers that you can identify very easily, but it doesn't have to be that way, all right? So don't forget that the number that you have here is not the radius itself, is the square of the radius. If you want to know the radius, you have to square root that number. Sometimes you will see the equation of a circle somewhat different. And let's see how I can go there already. So you sometimes may see the equation of a circle written as something like this: x squared plus y squared equals a number, x squared plus y squared plus a number x plus another number y plus another third number equals 0. This is another way to represent a circle. But this form and this form, they are linked, and that's what I'm explaining over here. If you expand this, regardless of what a and b are, you will get an expression such as this one. And if you compare these two, you will see that the coefficient of x is going to be minus 2a. Don't forget that a is the x coordinate of the center. The coefficient of y is going to be minus 2b, and don't forget that b is the y coordinate of the center. And this number over here is going to be this, a squared plus b squared minus r squared. What is the purpose of this? Is that even if you are given the equation of a circle in this format, you can still get the coordinates of the center and the radius using this relationships over here. So you know that the coordinate of x, g, is minus 2a, and a is the x coordinate of the circle. The value of f, the coefficient of y, equals minus 2b, and b is the y coordinate of the circle. And the value of c over here, the number that you will have on this expression, is going to be equal to a squared plus b squared minus r squared. So in practical terms, what does this mean? Let's see an example. So let's say, I still have this from my previous lesson. Let's say that we have this equation. X squared plus y squared minus 2y minus 4x plus 11 or minus 11. Let's see if this works. Equals 0. If this works in simple terms. So whatever the coefficient of y is going to be what? Let's see over here. Whatever the coefficient of y is going to be linked to the y-coordinate of the center of the circle by this. So I know that minus 2 is going to be equal to minus 2b, which means that b equals 1. So I already know the y-coordinate of the circle. B is 1. Can do the same thing for the x. So I know that minus 4 is equal to minus 2a, as you can see over here. Minus 4 is the coefficient of x, which means that a equals minus 4 divided by minus 2, which is 2. So I already know the center of the circle. The center of our circle is on point. This is 1, 2. This is point 1. So it's over here. This is the center. What do I need to know? I need to know the radius of this circle. So I have to use this last part, but I already know the value of a and b. So I know that 1 squared plus 2 squared minus the radius squared, that's what I want, equals the value of c, which is minus 11. So 1 plus 4, it's 5. So I have minus r squared equals minus 11. And this 5 goes to the other side, becomes negative, minus 5. I have only a negative term, so I can turn this into positive. So I know that r is going to be square root of 11 plus 5, which is 16, which is 4. So I know that the radius is going to be 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is going to be something like this. See, I got the equation, not equation, I got the position and the radius of this circle, even though the expression that I had, the equation that I had for the circle, was not nice and neat, such as this one, in which you could get the coordinates straight away. But very easily, I can get all that I need. I just have to divide. Again, this is a shortcut. Divide this coefficient by minus 2, this coefficient by minus 2, and you'll have the coordinates of the center. Then once you have that, just apply this equation and you got the radius. It's actually done in less than 30 seconds. What else do you need to know in relation to the circle? This is nothing new. This is something that you probably learned in previous years, which are important properties of a circle that you need to know in order to get the information that you want for some questions. Not all, but for a few of them. So you may remember this. If you have a circle and for any point of the circle, you draw lines that go to the opposite positions in a circle, completely opposite, then the angle is always going to be 90 degrees, right? Again, if you draw any line that cuts the circle in half, and then if you draw lines from each edge to whatever position on the circle, these angles over here, they are all going to be 90 degrees. Another one that you need to know, if you draw a line from any point in the circle to its center, and then you draw a chord. A chord is a straight line that cuts the circle in any position. If you draw a chord that is perpendicular to this line, then the line is dividing the chord into 2 equal parts. Finally, again, if you have any point A on a circle, and if you draw a line that goes to its center, and one that is perpendicular to it, this one is going to be a tangent to the circle, and the angle between these two is always 90 degrees. So remember these rules from previous years about the circles. Then you just need to know that the only thing that is going to be new is the equation of the circle. And then everything that you learned in the previous lessons about coordinate geometry is still applicable over here. Namely, on our previous lesson, the points of intersection of two lines, The procedure for you to get a point or point of intersection is the same if you have two lines, a line and a curve, such as a parabola, or a line and a circle. The procedure is exactly the same. That's the reason why the circle is now taught in coordinate geometry in the AS level.